Genesis chapter 1. 1. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. 2. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was on the surface of the deep. God's Spirit was hovering over the surface of the waters. 3. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. 4. God saw light, and saw that it was good. God divided the light from the darkness. 5. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. There was evening and there was morning, one day. 6. God said, "Let there be an expanse in the middle of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." 7. God made the expanse, and divided the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse, and it was so. 8. God called the expanse sky. There was evening and there was morning, a second day. 9. God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together to one place, and let the dry land appear," and it was so. 10. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. God saw that it was good. 11. God said, "Let the earth yield grass, herbs yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit after their kind, with its seed in it, on the earth," and it was so. 12. The earth yielded grass, herbs yielding seed after their kind, and trees bearing fruit, with its seed in it, after their kind, and God saw that it was good. 13. There was evening and there was morning, a third day. 14. God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of sky to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years." 15. And let them be for lights in the expanse of sky to give light on the earth, and it was so. 16. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He also made the stars. 17. God set them in the expanse of sky to give light to the earth. 18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. God saw that it was good. 19. There was evening and there was morning, a fourth day. 20. God said, "Let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth in the open expanse of sky." 21. God created the large sea creatures, and every living creature that moves, with which the water swarmed, after their kind, and every winged bird after its kind. God saw that it was good. 22. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." 23. There was evening and there was morning, a fifth day. 24. God said, "Let the earth produce living creatures after their kind, livestock, creeping things, and animals of the earth after their kind," and it was so. 25. God made the animals of the earth after their kind, and the livestock after their kind, and everything that creeps on the ground after its kind. God saw that it was good. 26. God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the sky, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." 27. God created man in his own image. In God's image he created him, male and female he created them. 28. God blessed them. God said to them, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the sky, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." 29. God said, "Behold, I have given you every herb yielding seed, which is on the surface of all the earth, and every tree, which bears fruit yielding seed. It will be your food. 30. To every animal of the earth, and to every bird of the sky, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food," and it was so. 31. God saw everything that he had made, and, behold, it was very good. There was evening and there was morning, a sixth day. Chapter 2. 1. The heavens and the earth were finished, and all their vast array. 2. On the seventh day God finished his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. 3. God blessed the seventh day, and made it holy, because he rested in it from all his work which he had created and made. 4. This is the history of the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahweh God made the earth and the heavens. 5. No plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no herb of the field had yet sprung up, for Yahweh God had not caused it to rain on the earth. There was not a man to till the ground. 6 But a mist went up from the earth, and watered the whole surface of the ground. 7 Yahweh God formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. 8 Yahweh God planted a garden eastward, in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. 9 Out of the ground Yahweh God made every tree to grow that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food, the tree of life also in the middle of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. 10 A river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it was parted, and became 4 heads. 11 The name of the first is Pishon, this is the one which flows through the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. 12 And the gold of the land is good. There is aromatic resin and the onyx stone. 13 The name of the second river is Gihon, the same river that flows through the whole land of Cush. 14 The name of the third river is Hiddekel, this is the one which flows in front of Assyria. The fourth river is the Euphrates. 15 Yahweh God took the man, and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. 16 Yahweh God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat. 17 But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat of it, for in the day that you eat of it you will surely die. 18 Yahweh God said, It is not good that the man should be alone, I will make him a helper suitable for him. 19 Out of the ground Yahweh God formed every animal of the field, and every bird of the sky, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. Whatever the man called every living creature, that was its name. 20 The man gave names to all livestock, and to the birds of the sky, and to every animal of the field, but for man there was not found a helper suitable for him. 21 Yahweh God caused a deep sleep to fall on the man, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh in its place. 22 He made the rib, which Yahweh God had taken from the man, into a woman, and brought her to the man. 23 The man said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She will be called woman, because she was taken out of man. 24 Therefore a man will leave his father and his mother, and will join with his wife, and they will be one flesh. 25 They were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Chapter 3 1 Now the serpent was more subtle than any animal of the field which Yahweh God had made. He said to the woman, Has God really said, You shall not eat of any tree of the garden? To the woman said to the serpent, Of the fruit of the trees of the garden we may eat. 3 But of the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, God has said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. 4 The serpent said to the woman, You won't surely die. 5 For God knows that in the day you eat it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. 6 When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit, and ate, and she gave some to her husband with her, and he ate. 7 The eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. 8 They heard the voice of Yahweh God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh God among the trees of the garden. 9 Yahweh God called to the man, and said to him, Where are you? 10 The man said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. 11 God said, Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from? 12 The man said, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. 13 Yahweh God said to the woman, What is this you have done? The woman said, The serpent deceived me, and I ate. 14 Yahweh God said to the serpent, Because you have done this, you are cursed above all livestock, and above every animal of the field. On your belly you shall go, and you shall eat dust all the days of your life. 15 I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will bruise your head, and you will bruise his heel. 16 To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your pain in childbirth. In pain you will bear children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. 17 To Adam he said, because you have listened to your wife's voice, and have eaten of the tree, of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it, cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. 18 It will yield thorns and thistles to you, and you will eat the herb of the field. 19 By the sweat of your face will you eat bread until you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For you are dust, and to dust you shall return. 20 The man called his wife Eve, because she was the mother of all living. 21 Yahweh God made coats of skins for Adam and for his wife, and clothed them. 22 Yahweh God said, behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Now, lest he reach out his hand, and also take of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. 23 Therefore Yahweh God sent him out from the Garden of Eden, to till the ground from which he was taken. 24 So he drove out the man, and he placed cherubs at the east of the Garden of Eden, and the flame of a sword which turned every way, to guard the way to the tree of life. Chapter 4 1 The man knew Eve his wife. She conceived, and gave birth to Cain, and said, I have gotten a man with Yahweh's help. 2 Again she gave birth, to Cain's brother Abel. Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. 3 As time passed, it happened that Cain brought an offering to Yahweh from the fruit of the ground. 4 Abel also brought some of the firstborn of his flock and of its fat. Yahweh respected Abel and his offering. 5 But he didn't respect Cain and his offering. Cain was very angry, and the expression on his face fell. 6 Yahweh said to Cain, why are you angry? Why has the expression of your face fallen? 7 If you do well, will it not be lifted up? If you don't do well, sin crouches at the door. Its desire is for you, but you are to rule over it. 8 Cain said to Abel, his brother, let's go into the field. It happened when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and killed him. 9 Yahweh said to Cain, where is Abel, your brother? He said, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? 10 Yahweh said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries to me from the ground. 11 Now you are cursed because of the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. 12 From now on, when you till the ground, it won't yield its strength to you. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer in the earth. 13 Cain said to Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. 14 Behold, you have driven me out this day from the surface of the ground. I will be hidden from your face, and I will be a fugitive and a wanderer in the earth. It will happen that whoever finds me will kill me. 15 Yahweh said to him, therefore whoever slays Cain, vengeance will be taken on him sevenfold. Yahweh appointed a sign for Cain, lest any finding him should strike him. 16 Cain went out from Yahweh's presence, and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. 17 Cain knew his wife. She conceived, and gave birth to Enoch. He built a city, and called the name of the city, after the name of his son, Enoch. 18 To Enoch was born Irad. Irad became the father of Meujael. Meujael became the father of Methushael. Methushael became the father of Lamech. 19 Lamech took 2 wives, the name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other Zillah. 20 Adah gave birth to Jabal, who was the father of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. 21 His brother's name was Jubal, who was the father of all who handle the harp and pipe. 22 Zillah also gave birth to Tubal-Cain, the forger of every cutting instrument of brass and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. 23 Lamech said to his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice. You wives of Lamech, listen to my speech, for I have slain a man for wounding me, a young man for bruising me. 24 If Cain will be avenged 7 times, truly Lamech 77 times. 25 Adam knew his wife again. She gave birth to a son, and named him Seth, for God has appointed me another child instead of Abel, for Cain killed him. 26 There was also born a son to Seth, and he named him Enosh. Then men began to call on Yahweh's name. Chapter 5 1 This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, he made him in God's likeness. 2 He created them male and female, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, in the day when they were created. 3 Adam lived 130 years, and became the father of a son in his own likeness, after his image, and named him Seth. 4 The days of Adam after he became the father of Seth were 800 years, and he became the father of sons and daughters. 5 All the days that Adam lived were 930 years, then he died. 6 Seth lived 105 years, and became the father of Enosh. 7 Seth lived after he became the father of Enosh 807 years, and became the father of sons and daughters. 8 All the days of Seth were 912 years, then he died. 9 Enosh lived 90 years, and became the father of Kenan. 10 Enosh lived after he became the father of Kenan, 815 years, and became the father of sons and daughters. 11 All the days of Enosh were 905 years, then he died. 12 Kenan lived 70 years, and became the father of Mahalalel. 13 Kenan lived after he became the father of Mahalalel 840 years, and became the father of sons and daughters. 14 And all the days of Kenan were 910 years, then he died. 15 Mahalalel lived 65 years, and became the father of Jared. 16 Mahalalel lived after he became the father of Jared 830 years, and became the father of sons and daughters. 17 All the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, then he died. 18 Jared lived 162 years, and became the father of Enoch. 19 Jared lived after he became the father of Enoch 800 years, and became the father of sons and daughters. 20 All the days of Jared were 962 years, then he died. 21 Enoch lived 65 years, and became the father of Methuselah. 22 Enoch walked with God after he became the father of Methuselah 300 years, and became the father of sons and daughters. 23 All the days of Enoch were 365 years. 24 Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. 25 Methuselah lived 187 years, and became the father of Lamech. 26 Methuselah lived after he became the father of Lamech 782 years, and became the father of sons and daughters. 27 All the days of Methuselah were 969 years, then he died. 28 Lamech lived 182 years, and became the father of a son. 29 And he named him Noah, saying, This same will comfort us in our work and in the toil of our hands, because of the ground which Yahweh has cursed. 30 Lamech lived after he became the father of Noah 595 years, and became the father of sons and daughters. 31 All the days of Lamech were 777 years, then he died. 32 Noah was 500 years old, and Noah became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Chapter 6 1 It happened, when men began to multiply on the surface of the ground, and daughters were born to them, 2 That God's sons saw that men's daughters were beautiful, and they took for themselves wives of all that they chose. 3 Yahweh said, My spirit will not strive with man forever, because he also is flesh, yet will his days be 120 years. 4 The Nephilim were in the earth in those days, and also after that, when God's sons came into men's daughters. They bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. 5 Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. 6 Yahweh was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. 7 Yahweh said, I man whom I have created from the surface of the ground, man, along with animals, creeping things, and birds of the sky, for I am sorry that I have made them. 8 But Noah found favor in Yahweh's eyes. 9 This is the history of the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time. Noah walked with God. 10 Noah became the father of 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. 11 The earth was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. 12 God saw the earth, and saw that it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. 13 God said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. 14 Make a ship of gopher wood. You shall make rooms in the ship, and shall seal it inside and outside with pitch. 15 This is how you shall make it. The length of the ship will be 300 cubits, its breadth 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. 16 You shall make a roof in the ship, and you shall finish it to a cubit upward. You shall set the door of the ship in its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third levels. 17 Even I, do bring the flood of waters on this earth, to destroy all flesh having the breath of life from under the sky. Everything that is in the earth will die. 18 But I will establish my covenant with you. You shall come into the ship, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. 19 Of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ship, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. 20 Of the birds after their kind, of the livestock after their kind, of every creeping thing of the ground after its kind, 2 of every sort shall come to you, to keep them alive. 21 Take with you of all food that is eaten, and gather it to yourself, and it will be for food for you, and for them. 22 Thus Noah did. According to all that God commanded him, so he did. Chapter 7. 1 Yahweh said to Noah, Come with all of your household into the ship, for I have seen your righteousness before me in this generation. 2 You shall take 7 pairs of every clean animal with you, the male and his female. Of the animals that are not clean, take 2, the male and his female. 3 Also of the birds of the sky, 7 and 7, male and female, to keep seed alive on the surface of all the earth. 4 and 7 days, I will cause it to rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. Every living thing that I have made, I will destroy from the surface of the ground. 5 Noah did everything that Yahweh commanded him. 6 Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters came on the earth. 7 Noah went into the ship with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives, because of the waters of the flood. 8 Clean animals, animals that are not clean, birds, and everything that creeps on the ground. 9 Went by pairs to Noah into the ship, male and female, as God commanded Noah. 10 It happened after the 7 days, that the waters of the flood came on the earth. 11 In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on the same day all the fountains of the great deep were burst open, and the sky's windows were opened. 12 The rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. 13 In the same day Noah, and Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, entered into the ship. 14 They, and every animal after its kind, all the livestock after their kind, every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. 15 They went to Noah into the ship, by pairs of all flesh with the breath of life in them. 16 Those who went in male and female of all flesh, as God commanded him, and Yahweh shut him in. 17 The flood was 40 days on the earth. The waters increased, and lifted up the ship, and it was lifted up above the earth. 18 The waters prevailed, and increased greatly on the earth, and the ship floated on the surface of the waters. 19 The waters prevailed exceedingly on the earth. All the high mountains that were under the whole sky were covered. 20 The waters prevailed 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered. 21 All flesh died that moved on the earth, including birds, livestock, animals, every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, and every man. 22 All in whose nostrils was the breath of the spirit of life, of all that was on the dry land, died. 23 Every living thing was destroyed that was on the surface of the ground, including man, livestock, creeping things, and birds of the sky. They were destroyed from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those who were with him in the ship. 24 The waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. Chapter 8. 1 God remembered Noah, all the animals, and all the livestock that were with him in the ship, and God made a wind to pass over the earth. The waters subsided. 2 The deep's fountains and the sky's windows were also stopped, and the rain from the sky was restrained. 3 The waters receded from the earth continually. After the end of 150 days the waters decreased. 4 The ship rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, on Ararat's mountains. 5 The waters receded continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains were seen. 6 It happened at the end of 40 days, that Noah opened the window of the ship which he had made. 7 And he sent out a raven. It went back and forth, until the waters were dried up from the earth. 8 He sent out a dove from him, to see if the waters were abated from the surface of the ground. 9 But the dove found no place to rest her foot, and she returned to him into the ship, for the waters were on the surface of the whole earth. He put out his hand, and took her, and brought her to him into the ship. 10 He stayed yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out of the ship. 11 The dove came back to him at evening, and, behold, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from the earth. 12 He stayed yet another 7 days, and sent out the dove, and she didn't return to him any more. 13 It happened in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth. Noah removed the covering of the ship, and looked. He saw that the surface of the ground was dried. 14 In the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. 15 God spoke to Noah, saying, 16 Go out of the ship, you, and your wife, and your sons wives with you. 17 Bring out with you every living thing that is with you of all flesh, including birds, livestock, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful, and multiply on the earth. 18 Noah went out, with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives with him. 19 Every animal, every creeping thing, and every bird, whatever moves on the earth, after their families, went out of the ship. 20 Noah built an altar to Yahweh, and took of every clean animal, and of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. 21 Yahweh smelled a pleasant aroma. Yahweh said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, because the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, neither will I ever again strike everything living, as I have done. 22 While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Chapter 9. 1 God blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth. 2 The fear of you and the dread of you will be on every animal of the earth, and on every bird of the sky. Everything that the ground teems with, and all the fish of the sea are delivered into your hand. 3 Every moving thing that lives will be food for you. As the green herb, I have given everything to you. 4 But flesh with its life, its blood, you shall not eat. 5 I will surely require your blood of your lives. At the hand of every animal I will require it. At the hand of man, even at the hand of every man's brother, I will require the life of man. 6 Whoever sheds man's blood, his blood will be shed by man, for God made man in his own image. 7 Be fruitful and multiply. Increase abundantly in the earth, and multiply in it. 8 God spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, 9 As for me, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your offspring after you. 10 And with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, and every animal of the earth with you, of all that go out of the ship, even every animal of the earth. 11 I will establish my covenant with you, all flesh will not be cut off any more by the waters of the flood, neither will there ever again be a flood to destroy the earth. 12 God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you, for perpetual generations. 13 I set my rainbow in the cloud, and it will be for a sign of a covenant between me and the earth. 14 It will happen, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the rainbow will be seen in the cloud. 15 And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters will no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. 16 The rainbow will be in the cloud. I will look at it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. 17 God said to Noah, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. 18 The sons of Noah who went out from the ship were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. 19 These three were the sons of Noah, and from these, the whole earth was populated. 20 Noah began to be a farmer, and planted a vineyard. 21 He drank of the wine and got drunk. He was uncovered within his tent. 22 Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. 23 Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it on both their shoulders, went in backwards, and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were backwards, and they didn't see their father's nakedness. 24 Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his youngest son had done to him. 25 He said, Canaan is cursed. He will be servant of servants to his brothers. 26 He said, Blessed be Yahweh, the God of Shem. Let Canaan be his servant. 27 May God enlarge Japheth. Let him dwell in the tents of Shem. Let Canaan be his servant. 28 Noah lived 350 years after the flood. 29 All the days of Noah were 950 years, then he died. Chapter 10 1 Now this is the history of the generations of the sons of Noah and of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Sons were born to them after the flood. To the sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. 3 The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. 4 The sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. 5 of these were the islands of the nations divided in their lands, every one after his language, after their families, in their nations. 6 The sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. 7 The sons of Cush, Tabal, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, and Sabteka. The sons of Ramah, Sheba and Dedan. 8 Cush became the father of Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. 9 He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before Yahweh. 10 The beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. 11 Out of that land he went into Assyria, and built Nineveh, Rehoboth, Calah. 12 And Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, the same as the great city. 13 Mizraim became the father of Ludim, and Amim, Lahabim, Naphtuim. 14 Pathruzim, Cathluim, which the Philistines descended from, and Caphtorim. 15 Canaan became the father of Sidon, his firstborn, Heth. 16 The Jebusite, the Amorite, the Girgashite. 17 The Hivite, the Archite, the Sinite. 18 The Arvadite, the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. Afterward the families of the Canaanites were spread abroad. 19 The border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as you go toward Jurur, to Gaza, as you go toward Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim, to Lasha. 20 These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their languages, in their lands, in their nations. 21 To Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, the elder brother of Japheth, to him also were children born. 22 The sons of Shem, Elam, Asur, Arpachshad, Lud, and Aram. 23 The sons of Aram, Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. 24 Arpachshad became the father of Shelah. Shelah became the father of Eber. 25 To Eber were born 2 sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided. His brother's name was Joktan. 26 Joktan became the father of Amodad, Sheleph, Hazarmaveth, Jerah. 27 Hadoram, Uzal, Dikla. 28 Obal, Abimael, Sheel. 29 Epher, Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. 30 Their dwelling was from Meshal, as you go toward Sephir, the mountain of the east. 31 These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their languages, in their lands, after their nations. 32 These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations, in their nations. Of these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Chapter 11 1 The whole earth was of one language and of one speech. 2 It happened, as they traveled east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they lived there. 3 They said one to another, Come, let's make bricks, and burn them thoroughly. They had brick for stone, and they used tar for mortar. 4 They said, Come, let's build ourselves a city, and a tower whose top reaches to the sky, and let's make ourselves a name, lest we be scattered abroad on the surface of the whole earth. 5 Yahweh came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men built. 6 Yahweh said, Behold, they are one people, and they have all one language, and this is what they begin to do. Now nothing will be withheld from them, which they intend to do. 7 Come, let's go down, and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. 8 So Yahweh scattered them abroad from there on the surface of all the earth. They stopped building the city. 9 Therefore its name was called Babel, because there Yahweh confused the language of all the earth. From there, Yahweh scattered them abroad on the surface of all the earth. 10 This is the history of the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and became the father of Arpachshad 2 years after the flood. 11 Shem lived 500 years after he became the father of Arpachshad, and became the father of sons and daughters. 12 Arpachshad lived 35 years and became the father of Shelah. 13 Arpachshad lived 403 years after he became the father of Shelah, and became the father of sons and daughters. 14 Shelah lived 30 years, and became the father of Eber. 15 And Shelah lived 403 years after he became the father of Eber, and became the father of sons and daughters. 16 Eber lived 34 years, and became the father of Peleg. 17 Eber lived 430 years after he became the father of Peleg, and became the father of sons and daughters. 18 Peleg lived 30 years, and became the father of Ru. 19 Peleg lived 209 years after he became the father of Ru, and became the father of sons and daughters. 20 Ru lived 32 years, and became the father of Serug. 21 Ru lived 207 years after he became the father of Serug, and became the father of sons and daughters. 22 Serug lived 30 years, and became the father of Nahor. 23 Serug lived 200 years after he became the father of Nahor, and became the father of sons and daughters. 24 Nahor lived 29 years, and became the father of Terah. 25 Nahor lived 119 years after he became father of Terah, and became the father of sons and daughters. 26 Terah lived 70 years, and became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. 27 Now this is the history of the generations of Terah. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran became the father of Lot. 28 Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his birth, in Ur of the Chaldees. 29 Abram and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, who was also the father of Iscah. 30 Sarai was barren. She had no child. 31 Terah took Abram his son, Lot the son of Haran, his son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. They went from Ur of the Chaldees, to go into the land of Canaan. They came to Haran and lived there. 32 The days of Terah were 205 years. Terah died in Haran. Chapter 12. 1 Now Yahweh said to Abram, Get out of your country, and from your relatives, and from your father's house, to the land that I will show you. 2 I will make of you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great. You will be a blessing. 3 I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. All of the families of the earth will be blessed in you. 4 So Abram went, as Yahweh had spoken to him. Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. 5 Abram took Sarai his wife, Lot his brother's son, all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls whom they had gotten in Haran, and they went to go into the land of Canaan. Into the land of Canaan they came. 6 Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, to the oak of Moreh. The Canaanite was then in the land. 7 Yahweh appeared to Abram and said, I will give this land to your seed. He built an altar there to Yahweh, to appear to him. 8 He left from there to the mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to Yahweh and called on the name of Yahweh. 9 Abram traveled, going on still toward the south. 10 There was a famine in the land. Abram went down into Egypt to live as a foreigner there, for the famine was severe in the land. 11 It happened, when he had come near to enter Egypt, that he said to Sarai his wife, See now, I know that you are a beautiful woman to look at. 12 It will happen, when the Egyptians will see you, that they will say, this is his wife. They will kill me, but they will save you alive. 13 Please say that you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and that my soul may live because of you. 14 It happened that when Abram had come into Egypt, the Egyptians saw that the woman was very beautiful. 15 The princes of Pharaoh saw her, and praised her to Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. 16 He dealt well with Abram for her sake. He had sheep, cattle, male donkeys, male servants, female donkeys, and camels. 17 Yahweh plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. 18 Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is this that you have done to me? Why didn't you tell me that she was your wife? 19 Why did you say, She is my sister, so that I took her to be my wife? Now therefore, see your wife, take her, and go your way. 20 Pharaoh commanded men concerning him, and they brought him on the way with his wife and all that he had.